And the great thing about looking at it from a point of curiosity instead of a goal is my curiosity never has to end. I never have to stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. Right? I can just go as far as I feel I need to take it. If life happens to get in the way for a short period of time, I can put it on pause and go, okay, I got to deal with this. Oh, now I can go back to this. Okay. But it's never ending. It's how much more can I do? How much better can I get? You know, what other experiences can this lead me to?
That was Sean Wolf. Thank you so much for joining me today on Health in the Real World.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Health in the Real World podcast brought to you by My Core Balance. What do you think your body would look and feel like if you continued to move like you did when you were a kid? Well, the answer is check out these videos and you will find out. Go to mycorebalance.com, enter promo code podcast when you sign up to get 10% off of your monthly membership. We're here today with Sean Wolf of Body Restoration Clinic in Santa Clara, California. Sean, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I Sean, you and I go way back. It's gotta be like 10 years probably, right?
At least.
Yeah. And we've been kind of on similar paths. I know you've been certified in some of the same things like Egoscue, MBF, that type of stuff, muscle balance and things like that. And you also do Bowen work. And in addition, I think you have other stuff as well, right?
I have training or certification in over 24 different things. Heart math, NLP, Qigong, metabolic typing for nutrition.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. This is going to be a fun show.
Two things.
So this is great. You have a lot of different modalities to kind of pull from, plus your own just experience and intuition and all that great stuff. So in your opinion, let's say somebody comes to you with they just are a mess, right? They want to get fit, they want to be healthy, but they really have no idea where to start. What's kind of the first direction that you send people? Like what are like the 2 or 3 things that you would say, do this first, and then that'll get you a foundation?
The first thing I tell them to do is pay attention to their mental attitude. That's everything. I mean, if you don't have that, you could tell people to, exercise, do this, do that. But if they're doing that and going, Sean said I have to do this exercise, doesn't work very well.
Exactly.
So getting them to a point of going, okay, this is, and also getting them from a mindset of, I don't want to fix my problem. I want to be better. Okay. So when people are coming from a standpoint of my shoulder hurts, I want to fix my shoulder, they're coming from a point of the past. And instead of going, I want to fix my shoulder, well, how can I make my shoulder even better? How can I make it even better? How can I improve it so that it's more functional and it helps me to do what I need to do? Not, I want to fix it or I want to get out of pain.
Right. So I like that. I agree with that. How would you dive a little deeper into that? What are the main differences between that? I would imagine one is very like, the client who's putting all their power into your hands, like just do it, finish it, fix my shoulder, versus someone who's really going to own it, right? And do what they need to do.
That doesn't happen either. I mean, on my initial phone calls, I'm like, I'm going to give you things to do at home. If you're going to be willing to do them, come on in. If not, we're not the right match.
Yeah. And that's what I've always respected about you, is that you have all these tools and knowledge of what to give people, but it's like, you're not going to hold their hand on the way home and tell them what to do at dinner and tell them what not to eat and all that. And it's like, all right, here's your stuff. You're either an adult or you're not. Right.
And really what it comes down to is, this is my reasoning for telling you to do this. Okay. If you agree with it, great. If you want to try it, great. If you have a disagreement and you think there might be a better way, I'm all ears, and let's see if we can have that work for you. Okay. Right. More often than not, if they've already tried it, which is why they're coming in to see me, because it hasn't been working. Right.
Tried everything. Right.
Yeah. But it's it's a partnership. It's not, I'm here to do it for you. Now, there are situations, like I actually had a situation this week where I did a couple of online sessions with somebody, and I gave him the exercises to do and the meditations to do. And he needed body work. I mean, he needed the stuff that I can physically do. And the exercises just weren't going to cut it. So he needed to come in, and he needed, actually needed my help. He needed me to do something, but it was more a matter of being able to make it progress him. It's not that I was doing it for him. It's let me get this obstacle out of the way so that we can continue with you doing what's going to work for you.
Right. That's a great way to look at it. It's a partnership. And I think that's one distinction. And, most of us grew up in sort of the Western medicine model. And if you're sick, you go to the doctor, they give you medication, and the medication does it for you, or at least that's the perception.
Right.
Or like a surgery, right? That's like a typical Western procedure. And obviously, if I have a huge gash that's this big and my bone is popping out of my leg, I'm not going to go sprinkle some herbs on it. I'm going to go into the surgery room and give them full authority over my body. And you guys take care of it, fix it up, send me back on my way. But 99.9999% of health and wellness, I think, is more of what you're talking about, more of, hey, let's walk next to each other and do this together. And I can kind of advise you and give you an idea of where to go. You can give me your feedback, and we can sort of figure this out together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Emergency medicine is wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. But for emergencies.
Yes.
Otherwise, yeah, for the most part, like you said, it really doesn't help with our overall health and wellness.
So does it ever happen with a client where you've been working with them for a while and they've experienced some great successes? They've really taken it on. They say, I love doing this. I'm getting better. And then somewhere along the line, they sort of fall off the wagon, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a little pep talk? Like, what do you tell those people?
That depends on the person, to be honest with you. Somebody like myself, I need actually somebody to kick my butt and say, knock it off, stop that, And then I have some people, it's like, I have to go over there and hold their hand and just kind of go, all right, what can we do? Yeah, it's okay. That's not a problem. We all mess up every now and then. What is it going to take for you to feel like you can get back going on it? And how can I help with that? Okay. So it really it depends on the person. It is one of the things that a lot of the techniques that I've been trained in, that go, okay, here is this problem. Here is what you do. And I've discovered, even with all the techniques that I'm trained in, that doesn't work. You have to treat the person as an individual and go, what is going to work best for this particular person? And sometimes that is a trial and error thing. But one of the great things about being trained in multiple modalities is, okay, well, let's try this because this seems to me like this is what's going to work best right now. But if it doesn't work, okay, well, let's try this. And, oh, well, maybe that's not working quite as well as we wanted. Let's try this and see if we can make it work even better.
That reminds me of something that my dad told me. I think he was a waiter at a restaurant, and one of the questions at the training, his manager said, son, what do we serve here? And, one of the guys started rattling off the menu. We serve burgers and we serve fries and we serve this. And he said, no, we serve people. And so that always stuck with me because I think my dad told me that first when I was 12 years old or something. And I didn't quite grasp how important that actually is because, everything you just said just nails that on the head. It's like you have all these tools in your toolkit. You don't know which one to use when until that person comes in the door. You try this, you try that. Hey, that really worked. And this is the reason I think that worked. Let's keep going that way. For you personally, where do you struggle with your health and fitness? And what are some strategies that you've used to overcome those struggles?
I tend to be a very lazy person. I tend to be overly efficient.
That's the twist. I'm not lazy. I'm overly efficient.
So for me, well, no, there is an aspect of laziness because there are times when I would much rather just be sitting on the couch watching TV than getting up and doing something.
Right.
But what it has come down for me is what is the image that I'm projecting? Okay. Because if I'm going to tell somebody to go out and do something, I better be able to do it myself. Right. Or at least have the principles behind it and be able to do something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I work on like some marathon runners or even ultra marathon runners. Well, I don't go out and do that. But I can go out. I don't typically run very much, but I go on 12-mile hikes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I need to be able to do that. I think that is an advantage that I have that a lot of my clients actually don't have, is with my profession, I have to be at a certain level. And a lot of people don't necessarily have that. So the way I kind of have them approach that is, remember what you feel like when you're doing your exercises. Remember what you feel like when you're finished. Remember how much better you move when you're finished doing those things. Okay. And then sit on the couch all day and get up and feel how good you move. And pay attention, be aware of those differences. And which one would you rather have?
Right.
Because sometimes it just takes that couple of minutes, a couple times a day, to make a huge difference in the way your body feels.
Regardless of what your profession is, you need your body to be in tip-top shape. And I agree 100% with what you said about as a fitness trainer, like I have to come with it. Otherwise I lose client. If I start gaining weight and I'm all tight and weak and stuff, and people are going to look at me and go, all right, so that's what I achieve after this fitness program. That I don't want that. I want this. I'll go some other trainer. So there's that's like, the stakes are so high, right? And I try to tell people that as well. I think the stakes are high for, if you're an accountant, you need your body. If your body breaks down, you're done. You can't go to work. You can't do anything. And I think it's just that it seems so far away. It seems so, the stakes aren't right up in your face, where if I or you miss a month of workouts like that could be bad, right?
Well, absolutely.
So I think it's really interesting to me, how, myself included, how people will raise the stakes if it's for their career, their profession. Mm-hmm. And if it's for me as an individual, I can go the next week without working out. I don't need to worry as much about that.
Yeah. And one of the things that I do try to do with people is, I'll talk to them. Okay, what do you want to do? What are the activities that you really would like to be doing on a regular basis? What activities give you joy? Because one of the things that I've noticed, for years I did martial arts. And then when I started actually doing body work, I never had the time to get back into my martial arts. And with all of this stuff going on, where we've been in kind of lockdown, I've had time to go back into martial arts.
Nice.
And I love being able to move. And for me, that's a very joyful way of moving. So it's not like I have to, lay down or sit down and do my elbow curls and, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, I get to move, and I'm moving in a way that, the reason I got into martial arts is because I always wanted to move like Bruce Lee. It's not so much that I wanted to imitate him, but I loved the way he moved his body. And I always wanted to be able to do that. And so for me to have that kind of flow, I guess that would be like somebody who loves to dance.
Right.
It's like they want to be able to move. They want to be able to flow like that. And so finding an activity that people enjoy doing and saying, okay, let's not just get you back doing this, but let's make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to be able to continue doing it. And so even if those things may not be, the most fun things for you to do, you're doing them for this particular goal.
Right. You're doing, like you mentioned, the elbow curls. You're doing those elbow curls because you said you wanted to play basketball and your arm can't go up over your head. So these are going to help you get that arm up overhead, right? Yeah. Right. Connecting it to a goal that's important to them.
Yeah. And so for some people, it's even a matter of, okay, I did my elbow curls and I did my exercise program. So now immediately go out and do your activity so you see how good it feels. And then you tie your activity to the corrective program. Right. And that gives them a better, mentally, it makes it better for them to be aware that, oh, this is tied to this. This equals this. So I'm going to do this.
Right. One of the most common questions I get from people is, when during the day should I go running or should I go for my hike? I say immediately after you do your corrective exercises, because after you're done with those exercises, you are the most balanced that you're going to be the rest of the day. So
Mhm.
take that super balanced body into your activity, and you're going to be that much better at it. You're going to be using the correct muscles more than you would otherwise. You're going to be
Yeah.
less sore, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it's doing exactly like I said. It's tying in the activity that you want to do with what you need to do to be able to do the activity.
When we're kids, I don't know anybody who I went to school with, you know, up through, let's say, like 5th grade, you know, elementary. Everybody loved recess, and nobody was sitting around complaining that we had to move, right?
Right.
And everyone's doing something a little bit different, right? You have all, you know, the dodgeball and the tetherball and running and basketball, and then at some point we sort of lose that. And the more I see, the more I realize that I think it's that those activities, one, maybe they don't feel good like they used to, and in that
Mhm.
case, you know, corrective exercises like we were talking. And secondly, I think this plays into it as well. There's kind of whether it's a disinformation or just maybe a misinterpretation by the individual, that activity is not the best for staying healthy and fit and active. And instead of that, I have to buy the Stairmaster 3000, and I have to do
Or
45 minutes 6 times a week, you know?
I have to take the yoga class, or I have to do this, or I have
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah. No, and yeah, a lot of people, it's all or nothing, right? And it's okay if this is the activity they want to do. Like for me, my experience is it's famous with the tennis players. For some reason, their mentality, most of them, is all I want to do is play tennis. I want to go practice my tennis. I want to go get my tennis coach so I can learn how to hit better. But I can't move my body to to be able to go do those things.
Right.
You know, so and that's just my experience. There's a lot of people out there that do it with different things, but it's not just the activity. It's making sure that you're doing what you need to do to be able to do your activity.
Yes. And that's especially tennis, volleyball, basketball. You know, those are like the baseball, you know, with swinging. These are like
Mhm.
some of the most one-sided sports that you can
Oh,
possibly get. And for somebody watching this who doesn't, you know, if this is maybe the first time you've heard something like this, uh, you know, body symmetry is key, right? The left and the right should be as close to symmetrical as possible. It's not going to be perfect, but so if you guys are wanting to play tennis, wanting to play volleyball, and you're like, wow, it's starting to hurt more and more, most likely it's because that anatomical symmetry is just not there. So working with somebody like you, somebody like me, or some other type of body worker, corrective exercise
mhm.
person, like you said, before you do your fun activity, and then it becomes a means to an end. It's like, I'm doing these arm circles for a reason. I want to go out to the tennis court or to the baseball field or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So Sean, in 1 or 2 minutes, let's say you have been invited to give a keynote speech or the valedictorian address or whatever they call it at the commencement of a college or university. And they call you in, they say, Sean, you have 2 minutes. What is the meaning of life? Or like, what is, on a bigger picture, what kind of guidance can you give to these young graduates? You can sort of weave health into it. You don't have to, but just like, what is big picture? What kind of motivation, inspiration would you offer to the graduates?
Well, for me, I would say my meaning of life is to experience it. And it's to satisfy my curiosity of what is possible and what's possible for me, not necessarily, for everything. Like I'm not Nikola Tesla or Thomas Edison, I'm not going to make these great inventions. But if I have a curiosity, like for me, a lot of it was martial arts. When I wanted to see how possible it was for me to be able to move like somebody like Bruce Lee. So what do I need to do to be able to do that? And that satisfies my curiosity so that I have the experience from my own personal life, which gives me satisfaction and joy. So find what that is for you. And the great thing about looking at it from a point of curiosity instead of a goal is my curiosity never has to end. I never have to stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. Right? I can just go as far as I feel I need to take it. If life happens to get in the way for a short period of time, I can put it on pause and go, okay, I got to deal with this. Oh, now I can go back to this. Okay. But it's never ending. how much more can I do? How much better can I get? What other experiences can this lead me to?
That's a much more fulfilling way to live, I think. And it's always you're unfolding your curiosity as opposed to I'm never at my goal. It's way out there and I haven't got there yet. Right.
Yeah, I think it's more a way of looking at the journey more so than an end destination. If you look at it from that curiosity standpoint, that's really a way of going, this really is about the journey. I mean, they say that about goals too. It's, pay attention to the journey, getting to the goal. But if you always just don't even have that end, and it's always about the journey.
Right. 100% about the journey. And it's not even about the goal because you just want to see where it goes and kind of unfold as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, can I do it even more? And can I do it even more? And can I be even better? And just see how far you can take it until you're satisfied with that. And then you go, okay, what is my next thing that I'm curious about?
Right. Yeah. Cause I have heard it in the terms of goals, outlined in this term where, in your journey to achieve your goal, it's not the goal that matters. It's the person that you become in the process.
Right. Uh-huh.
And I think that can help some people, but I think I like what you're saying too about you're not even looking for the goal. It's just, you're just more focused on sort of directionality. Like, what direction do I want to go? Oh, this looks cool. Let's try this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pursuing that.
It's more enjoyable, but it makes life more exciting, because it's what's next? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step?
That's awesome. Constant discovery.
Constant discovery. Yes.
Cool. Well, Sean, thank you so much again for joining in today. I want to, if you could give your website and all your contact information, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Yeah. So my website is bodyrestorationclinic.com. You can email me at info@bodyrestorationclinic.com. Phone number is 408-205-7469.
All right. Again, Sean Wolf, Body Restoration Clinic in Santa Clara, California. Sean, thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Chris. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.